Hey, this is Kelly Parker with Home Collective. I've got the amazing Emily Ackerman here, also with Home Collective. We are here because this market is weird and this data is even weirder. And we just shot you an email with some lovely bullet points and a very like of the week snapshot of what to expect for different property types and the different neighborhoods. But we want to spend a hot minute to explain what these data points mean and
Mhm.
what to expect as a buyer or seller right now, because it is so crazy how week by week it is. So
Yeah.
speaking of these bullet points, so the number of homes that sold in Chicago have decreased by 6.3% this August compared to August of 2022. That's
Mhm.
not surprising. Inventory has been down. We're not surprised to see a decrease in the number of homes sold. The median sale price though has increased, which tracks, right? The lower the inventory, the higher the demand, the prices increase. But listings took an average of 52 days long, or 52 days on average to sell, which was an increase of 8.2%. So it was a little bit surprising to see that the days on market have increased, that the demand isn't quite as rapid as it
Mhm.
has been in the past. So the reason we wanted to talk about this is because it's so important to know that this data lags, right? That anything that is sold in August actually really sold in May or June. It just didn't close until August. And we're only just now getting the August data at the end of September, beginning of October. And our current market climate is incredibly different. Just today, we found out that interest rates have hit 8%.
Crazy.
And I would say, Emily, I mean, my mind's blown. I'm not going to lie. Like, I knew it
Yeah.
was going to go, we knew it was going to get into the sevens. We were prepared for that.
Not expecting 8.
Wasn't expecting 8. That felt a little bit like a blindsided moment on top of what has felt historically in all the years that I've been doing this, like the slowest start to fall that I have ever
Mhm.
experienced. Fall is always a little bit quieter, but I'm still waiting for like the engine to turn over and I just don't, it's not happening. So
Yeah.
wanted to hear, based on this being a slow start to fall, how are you advising your buyers, particularly with interest rates going up, inventory accumulating, which is kind of a
Mhm.
nice change of pace, to be honest, to see more
Yeah.
inventory on the market. How are you advising your current buyers right now or new buyers?
Ooh, yeah, I definitely have some new buyers right now. And I would say, it's kind of nice that they haven't been jaded by the most recent, these recent rate increases. And so it feels like a fresh start to enter the marketplace. In short, I think it's a great time to buy right now if you are committed to buying and you know that it's something you're going to be doing in the next, 6, 7 months. And really thinking more seriously about the inventory that's on the market right now, because there are a lot of sellers who are seeing these stats who are feeling these longer market days, and I think are more negotiable than they would be in the spring. So that's kind of how I'm advising my clients on the buy side. But I know that you've been working with some buyers for, the 4 to 1 year mark, or even a little bit longer. And what's the sentiment on that?
I know. It's so sad. It's so sad to have like started your search when things were 6% and now they're 8%. It doesn't feel good. And so
Yeah.
some are choosing to sit this out and I support that. We have to do what's right for them. But
Mhm.
and some are continuing on because it just depends on what the overall end goal is. What is the overall intention? And we're doing a lot of truly like back of the envelope math. Like, hey,
Yeah.
no one can guarantee that rates are going to be going down. No one should be saying that there's a very near refi possibility, with
Mhm.
rates dropping. We don't have a crystal ball. We don't know. But
Yeah.
what we do know is that it's fair to anticipate that pricing will continue to increase and some things like that. And so we can really do some math that compares the current rates with the current purchase price they're desiring,
Mhm.
with the potential to prices maybe increase and maybe rates do come down. And how does that feel to them? And we're just making very specific choices and decisions based on their goals and their needs. I am saying like this is a great time to negotiate. So while the
Yeah.
rate might have gone up, what you're able to actually negotiate down on a price
Yeah.
might actually help offset that. And we are going to sellers with very specific requests to help offset the increase in interest rates. So there's a lot of tools that we're using right now to
Mhm.
help support even buyers who've been in this market who've been a part of the rate increase. And that's where, obviously working with an agent who understands these different levers to pull to help, make that dream come true is what we're doing. But yeah, I think it's an interesting time for buyers. And either way across the board, I know we agree, it's just a great time to negotiate. So
Yeah. And I
negotiate.
feel, yes. I know that you have some current sellers right now on the market. What are the conversations that you're having with them?
Yeah, I mean, it's been interesting.
Yeah.
It over the summer we were preparing, we knew we're always involved with our clients' plans like well before, which is amazing. I mean, some of these clients I've been talking to since the spring. We knew this was the time that they were going to be moving and some life was taking them in different directions. We could only speak, generally in terms of like what is our process and what is our overall strategy, but
Mhm.
and then what's their current value within a range. And then it became a really game time decision right before going on in the middle of September based on the current climate. And I noticed in the middle of September that inventory was sitting, stuff was coming on and it wasn't selling right away. And all of a sudden we had a heck of a lot more competition than we had
Mhm.
had, in the months prior. And so that really speaks to that specific strategy that we decided to do with them. And then managing, the expectations that the right buyer will come along at the right time and that we need to give this the space it needs to you know to be on the market and do what it needs to do. And so fortunately we've got great clients who are true partners in this and they're educated and they're understanding, and so we're all good.
Yeah.
We know, we feel confident that we've done everything well and right and we've made a solid first impression, and it's just a matter of the right buyer, feeling like it's the right time, which I will say, like, being able to negotiate something right now and get into something especially that's move-in ready before the holidays is a huge advantage to buyers. And so yeah, it's my sweet sellers, we're doing great, but
Yeah.
it's a little bit of a curveball that we weren't expecting.
Hmm.
How about
Yeah.
you? I know you've had a couple new sellers reach out.
New sellers reaching out and, again, having like really open and honest conversations about what their goals are and what their timing is, because that drives so much of the strategy that we put together. And lucky enough, I've had some recent clients who have the luxury of time. And so, um, we have decided to kind of put things off until the spring, where historically we see the highest buyer demand in Chicago as leases are turning over. People have these like New Year's resolutions of buying properties. And so it's not necessarily the advice for everyone, but I would say as a whole, we are, if we're able to hold off a little bit and start the listing process later, we're doing that, but we're taking photos now while it's still beautiful out and
Yeah.
we have greenery on the trees. And so that's pretty much been the plan.
Yeah. And you made a really good point. I overheard a conversation you were having with a client about the equity in their home,
Oh,
about
yeah.
how they bought a few years ago. And so even though, it's a little bit of a different, climate for a seller right
Yeah.
now, that their position was very specific to the fact that they had the
Mhm.
equity. Will you share a little bit more about that?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's hard not to see these headlines and see 8% and that there's longer market time in, specific neighborhoods. And that a lot of deals are falling apart right now, but nonetheless, there are many of our sellers who purchased with us like 5, 6+ years ago. And they have a ton of equity in their properties. So even though, you have maybe a little bit more of a negotiation on the back end, they're still walking away with a great return on their investment. And so I've actually recently had a couple of clients ask me for like an equity analysis on their property, and that's something that we're supplying just to show what a walkaway would be and if it makes sense to sell now versus later. It's really just about bringing as much like information to the client as possible and being a partner with them, and deciding best timing.
And it's so like client specific, truly. I
Yeah.
think this is like the intention behind this is to give everybody like a moment, like the pulse on the market, but
Mhm.
also that it is so specific to your property, to your neighborhood, to your overall goals, what you can expect in this market right now. And so if you have any questions, come speak to us. We're always available. You can find us online, you can email us, you know where to find us. But don't, please take all of the headlines and all of the data with a lot of grains of salt
Yes.
because it's changing every week and we will do our best to update everyone as it does. But thank you for being here. Always a quick 10 minutes, but wonderful to see
Great.
you. And
Yes.
yeah, like I said, people know where to find us for more information. We're always here to dive deeper. Bye.